What is going on, baseball fans? Jeremy Laracuente here for the Baseball Banter Broadcast. Now, today we're going to be discussing a special video that was brought to me by a fan. Shout out to James Ramsey for bringing this video to my attention. It's going to be about a potential rule change that is being brought up and deliberated on by a YouTube channel named Baseball Oracle. And in this video, and we'll play a little bit of it in just a moment, it's about an idea, a concept entitled Line Score Retrogression. And I'll play out the video in just a moment, but essentially this idea, this concept is to help shorten games and to shorten the length of ball games. So we're going to play the clip here a little bit that explains what line score retrogression is, and then I'll jump back in with my thoughts on line score retrogression.
Line score retrogression is simply the utilization of the full line score to determine the winner of a traditional draw. Here are the basic principles of line score retrogression. 1. Regulation play is capped at 9 innings. 2. At the end of 9 innings, the full line score is referenced to determine a winner. If runs are tied at the end of 9 innings, then the determining factor becomes hits. If hits are tied, then errors becomes the determining factor. If the line score is identical, at the end of 9 innings, this will result in a draw. What better scenario is there to call a draw than when the line score is identical? 3. Because the determining factor reverts from runs to hits to errors, a complete line score tie during the final inning will place the game into a pseudo-sudden death mode. This means that not only walk-off runs are possible, but walk-off hits and errors are now possible. We have termed this as the quote, hot inning. In other words, the 9th inning becomes hot when a line score becomes tied before the end of regulation.
So as you can see in that video, and again, the YouTube channel is entitled Baseball Oracle. If you're going to watch the entire video, it's about 4 minutes in length. And I'll start with my initial reaction. My initial thought was, this is an interesting idea. Now, one of the things that was mentioned earlier on in the video is that games would be capped at 9 innings. So no extra innings. The idea of putting together a 9-inning ball game, one of the things that it says in the video is that it makes for a much more predictable time in terms of the amount of time that the game is played. And it does so without actually putting a clock on the sport. Now, we know that there are some new rules that are going to be implemented in 2023 with the pitch clock, the banning of shifts, and bigger bases. And I think that there's going to be a very interesting dynamic that happens following the implementation of these rules in 2023. But none of them, to me, are going to fundamentally change the way the game is played. And that brings me to my second point on the idea of line score retrogression. And while not physically changing the components of how the game is played, those stay and remain the same. Runs still matter, hits still matter, errors still matter. In this line score retrogression, they tend to kind of matter a little bit more than traditionally speaking. The other thing about it is that because you're capping the game at 9 innings, while not necessarily changing the way that the game is fully played, you are changing the essence of the game. And it kind of leads me into my third kind of point about it, and it's that there must be a winner in baseball. And that to me is one of the most beautiful aspects of it, that baseball is a game that is a marathon. The season is a marathon. It's the most grueling regular season of any of the four North American major sports leagues. To play 162 games, then to have to battle through now a wild card round, a division round, a championship round, and then finally reaching the World Series is a grueling marathon. It's a test of everything an organization has to offer. It is not just your 26-man roster. It is not just your 40-man roster, as we've seen. There are a ton of teams and a ton of organizations that typically go through 50 plus players in a season. And there's going to be an opportunity in Major League Baseball where the strong will survive. Yes, you can have a team that gets hot into, August and September and into the October postseason push. And we've seen it happen. And the thing to me about this line square retrogression idea is you're changing the essence of the game. You're eliminating parts of what can make baseball super entertaining. And one of the ideas that was mentioned, and one of the reasons that this idea even came up for this creator, was the fact that baseball is losing fans and has been for a long time. One of the things that is constantly being mentioned is that the games are too long and that it's too boring. Rob Manfred, as commissioner of baseball, has always been uh, consistent in his verbiage of trying to enhance the pace of play for Major League Baseball. And for me, the changes that we're getting in 2023 with the pitch clock, with the banning of shifts, with the bigger bags, bases on the paths, to me, those are going to be changes that can implement a better pace of play. There are different creators throughout baseball and the baseball landscape, and one of which that I very much enjoy watching is I Talk Baseball, I Talk Sports. And one of the videos that he most recently put out was about the changes that are coming in baseball. And the idea of all of these changes are really going to see the pace of play improve. And there's going to be an opportunity. Obviously, there's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be some, blunders and some things that happen with different teams, with players getting in and out of the box and pitchers being able to be on the mound. And there's going to be some issues with this pitch clock. But it's going to bring us back to a time where baseball wasn't so long and drawn out. And I very much love analytics. I think that they're a wonderful thing for Major League Baseball. I think that they do a very big service for Major League Baseball teams to be able to craft the best possible roster that they have to win a World Series when those teams, that's their ultimate goal. One of the downsides to analytics is the overthinking. And that adds to the length of the game. And while the length of the game is not necessarily the problem, it is a lot of dead air and emptiness that is happening on the field when that happens. By instituting a pitch clock, you will see real change with the game. Batters will have to be in the box sooner. Pitchers will have to be on the rubber sooner. The pace of play will pick up for that. The idea here of this line score retrogression not only changes the essence because you're capping the game and there's no limit. Now, when the way the game is played right now, there's no limit into how many innings you can go. We've already seen changes to the way the game is played in terms of extra innings with this Manfred man, the ghost runner, the extra runner placed on second base at the start of extra innings. Capping the game at 9 innings changes the essence. It changes what this game is meant to do, and it's to produce a winner. So I think that it's a very interesting idea. I think that when ideas of this caliber are brought forth to the public sphere, to the baseball public sphere, it serves a good purpose. It gets us talking. It gets an idea out there that allows us as baseball fans to really kind of sink our teeth into, try to figure out the ins and outs of what it can do for the game, both positively or potentially negatively. And I think the idea of, again, this line score retrogression, to me, changes the essence too much, even though it's not physically changing the way that the game is played, like some of the changes we're going to see. But that being said, I do believe that there's a potential here for more creative ideas like this to help better the game in the future. I just don't know that for me personally, that I think that this is the idea that helps progress and move the game forward. So, as far as my overall thoughts, very interesting idea. We need to kind of keep these creative ideas in the public sphere, in the realm, keep conversating about it, keep discussing different options, different things. But in terms of this specific one, I'm not sure that it's going to be something that I can really sign off on seeing go into full practice for Major League Baseball. I think that it would really change the fundamental principles of the game, while not physically changing the way the game is played. But those are kind of my thoughts on it. But again, shout out to James Ramsey for bringing this to my attention. Shout out to Baseball Oracle for putting the video together. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comment section below. Is this something that you would be interested in seeing? Is this an idea that you believe could truly help the game of baseball, could truly give it a more positive look towards younger generations? We know that right now the average age of baseball fans is not the younger demographic. And baseball and Major League Baseball, the commissioner's office, are trying to appeal to that younger demographic. Is this something that you believe could appeal to that younger demographic? Let me know that down in the comments, or head over to Twitter. Find me at banter_baseball. You can follow the Baseball Banter Broadcast TikTok account by following exactly that name, Baseball Banter Broadcast. As always, follow the entire Grant Laracuente Media Group family with Granted Geek Show and with WeSibs. And if you have any questions, any thoughts, any theories you'd like to hear me discuss here on the Baseball Banter Broadcast, you can leave a comment down below in this video. Again, find me over on Twitter at banter_baseball, at TikTok at Baseball Banter Broadcast, or any other of the public spheres that we have for this channel. So make sure you follow us all: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and of course here on YouTube by hitting that subscribe button. So I want to thank you guys for joining me again. If you want to check out that full video, it is on the Baseball Oracle YouTube channel, and it is about line score retrogression. But thank you guys for tuning in, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Peace.